Hi everyone, it's B. I am here today to talk about 3 different games that aren't really extensive enough to merit their own video, but I think they will fit together pretty well nonetheless. The early to mid-2000s gave rise to a massive boom in online MMOs, particularly virtual worlds where the entire purpose of the game was to create an avatar, dress them up in really cool clothes, and chat or roleplay with other players. The 3 virtual worlds I remember most from my childhood are Swinky, Mies, and WeWorld. Our first game, Swinky, is by far the most recognizable out of the 3, especially for those of us who grew up spending a ton of time online in the mid-2000s, mostly because of the massive amounts of ads they plastered over every single website you can possibly think of. Swinky began in 2006, and its gameplay primarily focused on creating an avatar, choosing various venues and chat rooms for talking and role-playing with other players, and going shopping to buy yourself the coolest clothes possible in whatever style best suited your personality. Swinky catered towards lots of different fashion styles. They had stores that were for streetwear, surferwear, skaterwear, and even a store that was extremely similar to Hot Topic. They also had stores where you could purchase furniture to decorate your home with. Most of my Swinky related memories, which I was definitely old enough to have an account for, don't even worry about it, are of me trying to make the most goth character possible with what little currency I had in the game, and then hanging around the mall chat room basically all day whenever I got the chance. Or if we're going to get very specifically cringe about it, there was a mall food court chat room where you could click to make your Swinky go behind the counter, and I would dress up my character as SpongeBob, so like yellow hair, a white button-down shirt, red tie, khaki shorts, and then I would stand behind the counter at the burger place in the mall food court and roleplay taking people's orders for burgers and then be like, asterisks gives you your food, XD. And I would just sit there and do that like all day. Most chat rooms were absolutely filled to the brim with avatars sporting black angel wings, devil horns, halos, tails, anything you can think of. And if you had any of those items on your avatar, you were automatically hot shit and you knew it. The demographic for this game was definitely geared more towards teens and young adults than kids. There was very little censorship, and the role-playing, although it was mostly just like scene kid text speech XD asterisks nuzzles you asterisks, it did sometimes get pretty graphic, and chat rooms were usually just used to find other players to date. And I'm sure you can probably put 2 and 2 together and guess what the players' customizable homes were used for. I'll let you figure that one out yourselves. Swinky also had a more tween-centric counterpart called Swinky Cuties that had a fairly successful run during the same time period, that was more highly censored for a younger audience and focused more on mini-games and dressing up your character more so than chatting. Also, I just feel the need to mention, I also specifically remember that sometimes people would make a character using the more like chibi looking style of avatar that was like shorter and had a larger head, and they would stand around in chat rooms role-playing as a child looking to be adopted. I don't know what that was about, but I do remember that it used to happen a lot. As of 2013, Swinky's player base was over 30 million. But despite its high amount of users, the site was shut down on August 26, 2016. Next up, we have Mies. Mies, very similar to Swinky, was a virtual world MMO that was created in 2006 and peaked in popularity at 13 million users. Mies, a little unlike Swinky, was focused more on 3D models as opposed to the paper doll 2D style. Mies, which was also geared towards teens and young adults, focused on more of the streetwear, obe snapback, scene kid adjacent aesthetic that was really popular in the mid-2000s. And its chat rooms were divided into hoods such as Burbia, Arcadia, and Uptown, as well as allowing players to create their own custom chat rooms. Again, I will let you guess what those were usually used for. Hint: everything I said about Swinky is also true of Mies. Growing up, for those of you who are unaware, I was a fully fledged scene kid. I'm talking hot pink hair, zebra print hair extensions, shorter black skinny jeans so tight you can't even bend your knees without cutting off your circulation, zebra print Osiris sneakers, pyramid stud belts, candy bracelets, rainbow wallet chains, one of those hats that looks like a wolf and has mittens attached on the bottom, Sonic the Hedgehog snapback I got from Spencer's, Brass Knuckles necklace from Hot Topic I was definitely allergic to, but still wore for the fashion. Invader Zim backpack, and Skull Candy headphones that you had to replace like every 2 weeks. Absolutely blaring 303 and S3RL. The reason I bring this up is because during the height of my scene phase, Mies was definitely my go-to just because of the type of clothing styles it had. Primarily, a lot of scene kid shit. A lot. Despite all of that, Mies was closed on December 14th, 2017. Next up we have WeWorld. This is definitely the strangest of the entries for this video, primarily because the art style of this particular virtual world, MMO, whatever you want to call it, reminds me a little bit too much of South Park. WeWorld was created in 2002 and the site reached its peak with receiving 1.5 million visits daily. WeWorld was basically exactly like the last two games I just talked about, you know, make a character, dress them up, blah blah blah, you get the gist. However, the thing I remember most from playing this game as a kid was the Goths versus Preps war that was constantly being waged in the chat rooms. There were many chat rooms specifically catered towards different fashion styles in this game. And while that might sound like a good thing, I vividly remember that one time when I was a kid, I didn't dress my character up goth enough and went into one of the goth-themed chat rooms and was immediately met with like 50 people spamming the word prep at me and telling me to leave. I feel it's important to mention this was not a one-sided thing. If I took the same character and put them into a preppier chat room, I was met with like a, ew, oh my god, there's a goth in here, gross. So it was like a two-way street. It was not a one-sided matter at all. Now, I know that may sound very silly, but people do not understand the meaning of the word gatekeeping until they tried to get into like a new fashion style in the mid-2000s. You might as well just give up before you even tried. Similar to the other games I talked about, WeWorld was shut down on May 11th, 2017. And with that, we have reached to the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed this little trip down memory lane with me, and if any of you out there have any experiences or stories of playing any of these games when you were a kid, please leave them in the comments. I would love to hear from people who actually know what I'm talking about when I mention one of these games or actually had played them back in the day. And yeah, so thank you for watching the video, and I hope you have a good day or night or whatever time it is wherever you are, and I will see you guys again soon.